Hey everybody, Barantos here. So wanted to give everyone a look at my recent purchase. This is a Kriss Vector in 9mm. Takes Glock mags, Glock 17, and then the longer boys. So yeah, it fires 9mm. It's got a really light recoil impulse because the bolt comes down and then the spring's right here. So the recoil impulse almost like knocks the gun down a little. So it's very good to shoot. The ergonomics on this are really good too. So like, I'm doing this the opposite hand, but you have a hand here. And then, on my end, the thumb would be hitting the mag release, which is over here. So you want to keep your hand on this area. If you wanted to do quick mag changes, things like that. To send your bolt home is right here. And then the reciprocating charging, or non-reciprocating charging handle is right here. This charging handle throws a lot of people off because it takes a lot of oomph to get it moving. So you really got to rip on it. Disassembly on this is incredibly easy. So it's just 4 pins here. So these 3 remove the lower from the upper, and then this removes the bolt from things. So it's just 4 pins. Take them out really easy. This gun is clear. Just to show everyone. And then another thing I was worried on is usually these pistol caliber carbines, or these pistols like this, they have terrible triggers. This trigger, it's got a little creep, and then it breaks. It's a lot better than I thought it would be. And that was one of the things that I checked out in the local gun store. The safety is ambi, and it's a pretty easy to hit, regardless. You can hit it with your finger, you can hit it with your thumb on the other side. So pretty good safety there. Cons of this. So there are 2 things that came up. One is sometimes it does have issues with shells not really kicking out that far. Like there's not a big extraction because of the recoil is so low. And the way that the bolt is, it mitigates it. So they recommend that you don't use any like lighter loads like aluminum case or some of these other ones either. So I'm going to be switching to 147 grains for most of my range rounds anyways. So yeah, looking to switch to 147s and see if I have any issues then. I've only had about 4 malfunctions out of 20 mags, which is still kind of high for what I would expect. Especially a gun that's supposed to spit these rounds out like lightning in the full auto form. So we'll see what happens when I switch to the heavier loads, if that resolves the issue. The other con is the way that this mechanism works. I had to put red Loctite on it because when it screws in all the way, the release button the release button right here and the hinge are like shaped upwards. So it doesn't really line up really well. And before I put red Loctite on here, if you would have saw like maybe a sneak peek in some of the initial videos or anything like that, there was like white plumber's tape that the previous owner had on before me. So you could tell he knew it was an issue because it would wiggle or it would unscrew or things like that. So I threw some red Loctite in there, and that seems to have resolved the issue so far. On it, I have a Primary Arms Micro Prism 1X. So with my astigmatism, I try to get these micro prisms as much as I can. It's got a pretty good riser on it. That's where my face kind of sits, to be honest, with this gun and how everything is on it. Because this does you choke up pretty high with where this grip is and kind of the level of the gun. So the high riser, I think, is necessary. I've only got it sighted in for about 25 yards. This is, I believe, a 6.5-inch barrel or a 6-inch barrel on this. So I don't expect to be like reaching out to 100 yards all the time with a gun like this. The previous owner put this giant brake on there. I'm not sure why. I'm looking to get a can for this and shoot suppressed because that's what I try to do with most of my guns when I can. On the bottom, I've added the SC Irregular or Regular Defense hand stop here just so in case my hand started creeping, it didn't get too close to the barrel for anything. Plus, these have a great texture, great kind of feel to them. I'm a big fan. Very big fan of the quality of those as well. So, yeah, this is the Kriss Vector in 9mm. I'll get some footage down the road of me shooting it, and you can see the recoil impulse and things like that. The one thing that I would say that I learned real quick is when you put your hand on here, like, you know, if I'm a right-handed, you want to keep your thumb up, because if it's riding on this, this will slap you. So you want it, you either need it forward or up. You don't want it on this. And that's kind of a thing. The one thing is, I guess I'd be looking if I SBR this. Excuse me. If I put like a grip here, could you still hit the mag release easily? Because that's the one thing is, if you move your hand away from this mag release, are you still going to be able to hit that? So I'm going to look into that, see what I can come up with. Maybe troubleshoot things there. But overall, I'm very pleased. It's a very fun gun. I picked this up for $1,400, I believe. With taxes and everything else, I think it was like $1,600 out the door. So not too bad. It was definitely something that when I saw it on the wall at the gun shop, I was like, okay, if this takes Glock mags and it's 9mm and it's got a good trigger, it's probably coming home with me. And sure enough, it met all those. So yeah, big fan. So far, I've taken it to the range 3 times. Had some fun with it.